I'm live. What's this? What's that? I'm going live on YouTube because they said this is what you're supposed to do to go to build. So I'm going live on YouTube. And I'm gonna talk about how to be authentic, how to be your most authentic self. And why do we want to be our most authentic self? What are the reasons behind it? And what's stopping people from being authentic? Hold on, I'm trying to make this better. Make this better. Is this better? Yeah, I think that's better. So the goal to be your most authentic self is the reason why is because when you are your most authentic self, then you find purpose, you find passion, you find happiness. You're able to connect with what you truly want to do in life. And one of the main reasons that stops people from being authentic is because people have been conditioned to wear a mask. People have been conditioned to put on a front, conditioned to be this version of themselves to be able to deal with the world. And a lot of times people have been dealing with like their parents telling them, well, this is how you should be and this is what you have to do. And the other thing is a job. Most people are working a job 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, that they have to be somebody else in order to be or in order to get a check. And when you have that constant conflict, when you're like constantly battling of like being this version of you or being this person to be accepted for this, it's going to create an internal conflict in your mind that's going to stop you from connecting to who you are as an individual. And so one of the main things that you want to do to start to like peel back those layers and get those layers off of you is be able to recognize the things that you like, right? And it could start with small things, creating a habit to do small things to be able to recognize like, yo, this feels good to me. This feels good to me. The other thing is nurturing yourself, like really nurturing yourself, loving yourself again, giving yourself the love that you deserve. Because if you really like dive deep into like why people aren't authentic, is because they haven't accepted themselves, haven't accepted the things that they've gone through in life, haven't accepted like their failures, haven't accepted like it could be like, oh, I had bad acne when I was younger and I've always been self conscious. Screw that. Like, love yourself. Love yourself no matter what you've gone through. Love yourself no matter what you've experienced in life. And the more love you can give yourself, and the more you can give yourself internal love, you can say to yourself, I love myself, I love myself. The more you can do that, and the more you can do things that show yourself love. Like one of the things that I do for myself is I go get massages weekly. Right? Like that's one of my self-care. That's like I love to do that. Another thing is like aromatherapy. Like I love to keep scents in my crib that smells good. I love to do things that consistently remind me, like, yo, you taking care of yourself. I make my own body oils. Whatever I can do to make myself recognize, like, yo, you are loved. And then I have an internal conversation with myself, right? Like I'm constantly in the mirror saying good things to myself, encouraging myself. Because the more you can give yourself that love, the more you can peel back those layers of who you're not. And that person that's been struggling to love themselves. The more you can give yourself love on every area of your life, the more you'll be able to see, like, yo, I'm worthy. Because true happiness and purpose and passion comes from being able to accept yourself. And so, like I work with clients all the time, and one of the main things the client says, like, I want to feel purpose in my life. I want to I want to have something more that I'm living for. I want to love myself. I'm tired of feeling stuck. Well, that bridge to get into that place, that gateway to get into that place is loving yourself. Nothing happens until you can love yourself. Nothing. And so the first order is to be able to identify those areas of where you don't love yourself and start to encourage yourself. And one of the ways that I do that with my clients is I show them, I teach them to go into the mirror. Go into the mirror, say I love you for 5 minutes every single day. I don't know who's looking at this, but you could check this out. You could do this on your own. Love yourself every day. Yo, I love myself. I love you. I love you. And then you're going to start to hear your internal conversation. That internal conversation going to say stuff like, you don't love yourself. Who do you think you are? Oh, if you love yourself, then why you do boom, 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 boom. Or if you love, and you have to be able to hear that and keep going and be able to identify those areas where you don't love yourself or where you haven't been showing yourself the love, and then go and re-nurture that with yourself. Go back and identify those areas of your life where you were like not giving yourself the love that you need, or you took a version of yourself and judged yourself for something that you did. Like, oh, okay, well, I judge myself because I did this, and I judge myself because of that. Why? Like, you're growing. Life is about growing. Life is about moving and shifting from different parts of consciousness. And you can't beat yourself up because of a state of mind that you were in when you were 19. You can't beat yourself up for a state of mind that you were in when you were 13 or when you were 7 or when you were 8. You have to just give yourself love. Like, this world is ever evolving and growing, right? Like these plants, right? Like if it can't get to the light that way, it's gonna go around. It's going around to go around to get to the light, right? Like, meaning, like, it's not gonna beat itself up and say, oh well, I can't get to the light this way, I'm gonna die. It's not saying that. The plan is saying whatever way I have to get to the best version of what I need to get to, that's what I'm gonna get to. And you have to take into consideration that you can do the very exact same thing. Look at yourself in a way where you say, yo, whatever I have to do to get to the best version of me, I'm going to do that. If it's nurturing myself and it's loving myself, loving that old part of myself, so I can heal myself and I can recognize that I've always been worthy. I'm not going to look at a mistake that I made and beat myself up for that mistake. Because think about this, right? What happens what happens to that person that's been striking out, right? Let's say if you go up to bat and this guy's been striking out 9 times, he's been striking out 10 times over and over. This guy's always striking out. People be like, oh, you're a failure. You always striking out. You ain't shit. But the minute this guy goes up and the bases is loaded and this guy takes the pitch and he takes that pitch and he knocks that ball and hits a grand slam, is that person still looked at as a loser? No. A person is looked at as a winner, right? So that means, like, yo, your past doesn't define who you are as a person, right? You can look into your past and say, yo, okay, I've done that. I've done that. Oh, this was the reason I did this. I did this because of this, but I was in that state of mind. That's why I did it. But your past doesn't define who you are. It can, a lot of times people like to say, well, if a person did this, and then they're more likely to do this. That's only based off of like data that most people aren't going to change, right? But if you have the ideas in your mind to say, yo, I want better for myself, you could totally redefine who you are as a person and present yourself as a different person in the world. You don't have to stay stuck and stagnant on something that somebody gave you. You deserve more of yourself than that. You deserve to give yourself a new outcome. You deserve to give yourself a different ending. You deserve that about yourself. You deserve to live in your truth, to live your passions and bring your gift to the world. Nobody can stop you from that. The only person that can stop you from that is you. And that's the thoughts that you keep in the identity of who you believe that you are. So in order to change your world, you have to change how you see yourself so that you can become the most authentic version of yourself. You don't want to think about the version of you that was always kicking the can and doing the dumb shit in life. Free yourself for that. Free yourself for that. You don't have to keep replaying that punishment over and over and over and over. You can rewrite your world. Drinking some herb water. Any questions? Is there any questions? That's what I want to know. Do you have any questions? Do you need to be able to break a spell? Do you need to be able to break the mental chains? Because that's how you free yourself. You free yourself by breaking the chains, breaking that belief of who you're not. And you don't have to walk in everybody's light. You don't have to, people say you got to do this. Screw what people say. Do what you say. When you gonna start listening to you? When you gonna start listening to your ideas? To be authentic in this world, you have to be able to listen to the person that's inside of you. That's how you become authentic. The world says this, the people says this. Oh yeah, my mama said this. What do you say? That's the question. What do you say? Instead of everybody else's words mattering in your world more than your words mattering in your world. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be dead honest with you. I listen to myself. I don't care what nobody says. I listen to my inner voice. I mean, I'll take things that I'll take the meat and throw away the bone of what somebody else says, right? Because sometimes we need to be able to like experience life from other people's point of view. Because a person could say, yo, listen, I was just over there. And when I was over there, I saw a little boom, boom, boom in the way. So you want to be mindful of that. Cool. But I'm not with nobody pumping fear into me. You know, we have this like, thing in the world where people always want to quote unquote, I'm protecting you. I'm trying to give you, nah, you're pumping fear. And that's why most times people are living in this box, because everybody that they go to is pumping fear. Nobody is pumping that word of being liberated, being free. People are constantly, oh, well, if I do this, then what's going to happen? What if you do fall? So what? So what? So what? You fall and then what? You get back up, right? You don't have to fear falling. Falling, that's why you have arms and legs to jump back up. Falling ain't something bad. That's when you learn. That's when you learn who you are. That's when you learn how to be the best version of you. You got to know what you got to understand how your body moves. You got to understand how you think. You got to understand your power in this world. You don't ever get that sitting down on the sidelines. You got to put yourself in the game. You got to wake up to the powerful version of you. My juice is done. Turn on your notifications so you know when I'm going live again. Love you.